Good evening, friends. Good evening and welcome to Littleport Christian Spiritualists this wonderfully frosty and crisp Thursday night. Welcome to everyone who is live, living and physical in the Village Hall. Good evening to everyone at home who is watching us either live or in the future. Time travel magic. And welcome to all the spirit people that are here wanting to take part in this, your service of mediumship for a Thursday night. And of course, we have an introduction like unto no other this evening. It's been a while since she graced our boards. Certainly physically, I know you did a few for us during the pandemic, but ladies and gentlemen and friends, please give a wondrous, thunderous, warm welcome to the Principal Minister of the New Christian Spiritualists Society, Reverend Gibb. And of course, Lynn is here tonight, as we are here every Thursday night, to prove that life is eternal and that we, like one of my addresses, goes on forever. So, friends, you are all most very, very welcome. Now, of course, no service would be, could behave yourself, love. He's usually making a few comments, you know, on the stream from time to time on a Thursday night. We've got him live in the Village Hall tonight. We'll try and get him on camera for the service. Just remember, Lester, I can give as good as I can get. So they actually did on the front cover, but that's another story and another Nick Brown. Friends, tonight we are gathered here to join in uplift, and of course, every service would not be the same and would not be a service unless we opened it in prayer. So let's join together for a moment into the thoughts, into the silence, and into the spirit world as we send out those thoughts and say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother God, we thank you for the opportunity to join together as friends, to unite under your banner of love and hope and friendship, to witness that proof and truth that life is indeed eternal. As we place this service in your care and keeping, we ask that the veil be lifted and that those that we love and thought we had lost move forward through that veil, through your instrument tonight, Lynn, so that we might see that truth and that hope. And as ever, Great Spirit, we make that very important statement that everything we do will be in the name of love, in the name of truth, and in the name of light. Amen.
Amen.
Well, friends, for those that know, I have a TikTok. They might have seen that I've been gabbing off over the last 24 hours and getting into a really, really big topic. Some might say the biggest topic. Which for me personally, although for me, as someone who doesn't know when to shut up and really doesn't have an off switch, I think I did pretty well to make the statement that I did in 3 minutes. But as ever, 3 minutes is not enough when you are talking about the biggest topic. And so I did promise, and Spirit have inspired me to continue on the subject of God. Because the question was asked, and I will share the question and continue from where I was. If God created everything, where did God come from? Now, some would say, oh, that's a silly question. Oh, no, don't ask questions like that. One of the first things I ever learned is that questions be good. Because without questions, you don't get your answers. And it is one of the oldest and most brilliant questions ever. Now, I used to discuss this frequently with my grandfather. You can imagine me sitting on a kickstool talking to my granddad, and he would pose it in a different way. So Nick, tell me, if God created the earth, what was God standing on when he did it? And of course, it's a simple question, but the answer is so complex, so difficult, that we have spent our entire civilization trying to figure out who or what God is. And I don't think we should ever stop trying. But there are some questions that we will never get answers to in our current state of being. And I think it's important that we not only accept and recognize that, but also acknowledge it. So many people with authority and knowledge will be asked a question like that and give some kind of reply without acknowledging that they're not actually answering the question. Because they don't know, but they don't want to be seen as not knowing. So they come out with these wondrous comments that act like an answer without saying, first, the truth is, we really don't know and can't know because we are physical beings. But it doesn't mean to say we shouldn't stop trying to figure it out, because that's what life is about figuring out the answers, about working out where we're from, about working out who or what God is. All of the titles, all of the attributes, all of the faces that we as human beings give to that being, that presence, don't matter. Because every time we put a pin in something, we're pinning it down, we're limiting it, we're restricting it. Because we are physical beings. We cannot understand truly what infinity, what eternity literally looks like, because we are finite, we are limited, and we should glory in that, not fear it, because we wouldn't be here for this experience if finite, limited existence wasn't important. I always say it as this: imagine God is a jigsaw puzzle, a huge big picture. And in order to understand itself, it broke itself down into, let's do it a bit of justice, a 10,000 piece jigsaw puzzle. We are those pieces of the jigsaw puzzle, examining our own little tiny corner of creation. And we can only see our part of the puzzle and the bit of the puzzle that connects to us. Because that's the important part. We must connect with other limited entities of the physical nature here on this earth plane to help link up those bigger bits so that we can understand that picture all the better. And the reason I say we can't understand infinity to its fullest potential, because we are physical, is the way we explain it. A serpent eating its own tail, a circle ever going around. The person who drew that original circle started somewhere and finished where they began again. The serpent eating its own tail. It's got a head and a tail. It's got a limit. It's got a start and a finish. We cannot truly understand what infinity is. But that doesn't matter, and it doesn't mean we should stop trying to. But we must acknowledge that we don't know everything. Because the minute you sit like that child in the classroom at the back that everyone used to get annoyed with and throw rubbers at, yes, it was me, sitting in the back row, I know, miss, I know, sir, gets annoying. Because when they don't know, they make it up. I used to do it myself. I was only 5. Come on, give me a break. But then they grow and continue that thing. And they join groups or political parties or religious organizations accusations and still continue the I know everything and I'm going to prove it by waffling on and talking a load of rubbish and pretending like I'm right and everyone else is wrong. But the point is this: if we acknowledge that we have limits, if we accept that other people's views matter and have that part in that huge, grand cosmic jigsaw puzzle, we begin to connect rather than be isolated. We begin to grow and develop and learn. That's what we do in circles, if you'll pardon the pun. We know something about something. We have a feeling. We have an intuition. We have a thought. Somebody says, oh, go and join that circle. We join the circle. We get to know the people in it. We connect with them. We learn from them. We learn from the circle leader. We learn to connect to our spirit friends who know infinity a bit better than we do. We learn from them. We grow some more. We blossom. We bring out and we know more. Because that's the point of life. To learn and accept that as physical beings, we might not ever know everything. But if we are open to the possibility of being wrong sometimes, we can learn more. The world is filled with people that will say, I know everything. This is what it is, and that is it. You will never hear that from this platform. Or from my gob. You will never hear it from a new Christian Spiritualist Society minister, because we understand. We don't call God God all the time. Look at our prayers. The prayer that I learned from our principal minister, Father, Mother, God. We are recognizing that God is more than just some old bloke with a beard sitting on a cloud. We know that God is an energy. We know that God is a presence. We know that it is the source of life, the energy that filters and fills every atom of the universe. The physical universe created by a being who was lonely and said, I want to know myself a bit more. Let's go and stick bits of myself into those physical beings that I have created so that they can learn from a limited view, so that I'm not knowing everything. Because it must be a burden to know everything. And maybe, just maybe, God wanted a little bit of a break from it all. And we're that. And if anyone says, well, you can't know for definite that God is the energy that fills the universe, I say this. Once upon a time, and this is definitely stolen from Circle, once upon a time, if you'd have put a little box in the corner of a room that had little people dancing and singing and talking in it, they have called it witchcraft. We couldn't see the TV frequencies and the radio waves. We couldn't see the electricity. But it was always there because we didn't invent it, we harnessed it. Which is what we must do with knowledge. Harness it. Electricity, for example. Positive electrons flying through everything. You say to someone, oh, can you see electricity? Well, the light bulb comes on, the lightning comes down, but you don't see the electricity with the naked eye. You only see the impact it has on the environment around it. You see the plasma burning as it comes out of the sky. You see the light coming on as you flip the switch and it starts flowing through. You can't physically with the naked eye see positive electrons getting all excited and happy. But it's there. If you wish to see God, look for the causes and effects it has on the environment around it. Consider the hand. We have veins and capillaries. If you look at it through an X-ray, another thing that you wouldn't have seen a few hundred years ago, if you look at all of the veins and running up and down it, all of the capillaries running through it, and then look at a leaf and see virtually the same thing. Because God's the greatest recycler. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If it works, use it again. Everything in the universe is based off the same principles because it works. And the one thing that we always come back to is that search for knowledge, but also a search for love, for compassion, for friendship, for unity, for coming together. And I know that that's all that really matters and all we need to see of God, the Creator, the Divine Spirit. But here's the thing. I don't believe that my God is the only greatest God that you must follow, because I believe that every single reflection of that being is in every single depiction of God that humans have discerned. That spark is in each and every one of them. As we, as human beings, try to better understand the great spirit behind it all, those little jigsaw puzzle pieces. But the biggest problem with that is that people will say, no, that's not right. Look at what that God said. Look at what that God said. Look at what that God said. That don't sit right with me. Everything that we know of God is reflected through cause and effect of the environment around it. And that includes us. And sometimes those people who stand there and say, I know everything, come to me, have not exactly listened to what the Great Spirit has said to them properly, clearly, with the fullest picture. And so the images that don't fit right with you, that says, the God that I follow wouldn't do that, it's because the information has been filtered by a limited being who cannot truly understand infinite, eternal compassion to every single living thing on this planet. You will by their fruits know them, because if it stinks, it ain't worth nibbling on. Friends, find your own path to the Great Spirit, because being infinite, there's plenty of roads that lead that way. Find your own path, but always do it in understanding, in sympathy, and in love. And that's the only cause and effect and reflection that is necessary. God bless you all, and thank you for listening. Friends, well, I'm a bit perturbed and thrown off now. This is, I went to so much effort. Early send of text message of the link to Reverend Allen, and he never replied to me. I went to the effort of putting all of the technology together so we could see his wondrous pretty face. And he's not sitting in the waiting room ready to pop up, because he's right here. Reverend Allen, could we have your reading, please?
Thank you. Good evening, guys. Good evening, everybody watching and that we will watch. Tonight's reading is yet again another one chawed off the internet. It's called I Know, and it was penned by Richard Tully. I don't know where I'm going, but I do know where I'm from. I know about pain and sorrow, the beauty of love and its song. I know about the heartache, the suffering, the despair. I know I'll never stop loving, or that I really care. I know why we ask the questions and how they came to be. I know when we find the answers, we are humbled, brought down to our knees. Moral lessons and our need to learn them, temperance, justice, patience, and strength, understanding, truth, wisdom, courage, that our thirst will never be quenched. Striving ever forward, but never far enough, to reach our goals in the heavens, the blessings of those above. Thank you.
God bless
Thank
you.
Well, I think we can safely say the spirit world are on fire tonight with that link in. That is, thank you, Alan. Wonderful. For those that have either never been here before or have never watched, many times in the past, we used to have the reading followed by the address. And that was the traditional format that my teacher and mentor taught me. But she also said, strive to do new things and find new ways of proving life eternal. So one day we sat talking as a church and as a group and said, you know what would be fun is if we use the address and the reading to prove spirit input. And so whoever picks the reading keeps their mouth shut. Now, it's been really handy with the online thing because there's no way of me ever being able to have a peek at what he's up to. But whenever he walks in the door, he really cleaves his reading to his chest just to make sure that I can't see anything. And we say, let's do the address and test the spirits and see if it ties in with the reading. And do you know what? We've been doing that for what, 2 years? They've never let us down. Never let us down. Even when I touch on subjects that might be particularly naughty.
I think that one did let us down. Not really, it uplifted the place, but as to regards of a spiritual link,
Yes.
I think I ignored where I was being drawn that night.
Yes, yeah. But still, nonetheless. And I think it's wonderful that ability for spirit to connect with me and connect with you and pre-plan everything. That's the plasma and that's the light switch. And of course, the plasma and the light switch are nothing when it comes to the power of healing. And that is what we're going to do now. We are going to send out our healing thoughts to all those who are sick and suffering and in need of comfort. We do get given names throughout the week. If anybody wants to share with them so they can be mentioned from the platform, please do. They also get put in the healing book, which sits on my desk ready by the phone every single day. This week, tonight, I need to ask for healing for Leanne. I need to ask for healing for Mandy. I need to ask for healing for Barbara. And I also need to ask for healing to be sent to a man called Simon and every single member of his family, please. And so if you know anyone in your own heart, send out their names as we join together to say the healing prayer. Have a moment's silence listening to that candle music and end with the word Amen. As we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother God, here we bring unto you all those who are sick and suffering and in need of comfort, be they sick in mind, body, or spirit, that it may please thee to heal them. This we ask for those we know, for those we do not know, and those who have no one to ask for them. We ask for them now. Amen.
Amen.
You know, one of the wonderful things about technology is when you're chairing, you have to watch the clock when you're doing the healing silence. But with that, you just get to join in, and it truly is a blessing. So whoever did harness electricity, I know it's hotly contended between two individuals. God bless them both. And now, friends, speaking of energy flowing, get those vibrations lifted, get that energy flowing, get that ears holes plugged back, because the lady is about to speak. Friends, I now hand over this service to our principal minister and my personal very good friend, Reverend Lynn Gibb de Swarte.
Well, I think I could just about stand up after that. Thank you very much, Reverend Nick. Yes, I'll leave that there.
Is that so that I can do with it what you used to do to me?
No. Well, I think I've managed to at least stand upright-ish. It was very nice to be asked to serve this church because, of course, we founded it together, three of us here tonight. And this was where Reverend Nick first spoke in public. And I won't embarrass you by talking about, you know, all the times in circle when you hummed and hawed, but it was very good. And I'm not embarrassing him. It's just amazing to me that I'm in a situation now that people that I revered and looked up to were in a situation like I am now, way back when I was first developing. So it's a pleasure to be able to think that I've done the same thing for you that they did for me. And even the prayers that we say here are an echo from the past and an echo from a time when I was just developing myself down at Lewisham Spiritualist Church, because half that prayer is from Lewisham and the other half is from us. So we can always add and embellish, just like they did in the Bible and various other sacred texts. And yes, God, of course, is in all of us. And it would do well for people to remember that. And when they're talking about their physical selves, to remember how they got here and what their complex makeup is. And I won't say too much because it's a very thorny subject at the moment. But the fact is that you either have two X's, chromosomes, or you have an X and a Y. So that's how you come out. That's what makes you. So I'm quite happy to be what I am. And regardless of my sexual orientation, I do not wish to be a man. And I love a woman. And I know very well that my dear, dear friend, Reverend Nick, does not wish to be a woman either.
No.
And in fact, there's a very old Jewish prayer that Jewish men say. And I used to be offended by it until I understood. And in their prayers, and Lester would know this, and he knows what I'm going to say next, probably, he's going to pretend he doesn't, is they say, thank God for not making me a woman. And because they know of the onerous responsibility it is to be a woman, to have to live as a woman, and to probably bear children, at least to have the works to do it if they don't, with all that that entails. And the curse, as we call it, you know, having periods and things like that. And Jewish men know very well even if it is a guilt trip on the part of their mothers that put that prayer in place. Thank God I am not having to be a woman. So, you know, I know that many men would appreciate that. So, God, Mother, Father, God means something. Because everybody needs the two things. Even if you are like some people who don't want to go with a man, have to use their sperm, so they use a yogurt pot and a turkey baster in order to provide the necessary. But the fact is that you can't have human beings without that mixture. So I just thought I would just add that in to Reverend Nick's wonderful address. It was really marvellous. And of course, Jesus himself said, wherever 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, there I shall be. And he was trying to tell people that wherever you are, you're always in the presence of God, the Great Spirit, and their representative here on earth. So there you are. I'm employed here. I use the term loosely in the old-fashioned sense of employed, as in of service, as the medium tonight. Because, of course, like everything I do now, since I retired from the editorship of Psychic News, I do for nothing. It's wonderful. Makes me feel very holy when I consider that. It's like I've taken a vow of poverty. But I don't remember actually taking it. But I must have. And, of course, us spiritualists, we believe, you know, that we sign up for everything when we come down here. When I get back, I'm going to have a word. Because I definitely didn't sign up for that. But apparently I did. And my job that I'm employed to do tonight is to be the messenger between the two worlds. The next one, which we will all inhabit at some point, and where our loved ones are now, and down here where we're all here at the minute. You know, talking about finite and infinity. So I'm very, very drawn to this lady here. There, isn't that nice for you? And I can see that you have this wonderful light around you. And although you've had a hard time of it lately, this light is shining out because there is somebody around you who really does love you, and they're over in the spirit world and wants to comfort you because you have been having a bit of a time. And this is what I'm being told. And I have a lovely, lovely lady who helps me with these things. And she promised she would be here tonight. And I know that everything that she says to me, and the lady that's here over there with her, for you, is coming close at this time, sending her love to you. Woof, you know. So you would understand that, wouldn't you? We have to say yes or no, you see, because otherwise nobody understands that I'm speaking the truth. But
Silent God's not good enough.
no, you haven't come here to be told off. You have not been told off, Reverend Allen. I shall uncrop you. But yes, it's all right. So for the viewers at home, we'll say that you are accepting that communication. Because sometimes, you know, it robs us of speech because it's overwhelming, isn't it? And I know that she is saying that you're a little bit overwhelmed with that. You didn't expect to have that contact tonight, perhaps, although you would hope. You know, that's the thing. So on a lighter note, she would have, she's shown me, you know those old postcards of seasides and things like that? And I'm sure that she would have enjoyed, though, not only just the postcards, but the actual seaside and being there and trying to sort of say to you, you know, remember all the nice times, remember the good times. Try to dwell on that and don't dwell on the suffering, because that really gets to you. And you wonder what you know, what you could have done better. But she's saying you couldn't do anything, and that's understood. And she wants you to dwell on all the lovely things and fish and chips. I'm being told that, some nice fish and chips will cheer you up, do you a bit good. And she's showing me this little slice of lemon, like the posh people have. So she wants to make you giggle, and a sprig of parsley. You know when they put a little sprig of parsley on it, and then it makes the fish and chips posh. And you have a bit of parsley on it, and not out of the newspaper either. You have to have it on a plate.
Not posh.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So, no, see, you've had this now. So, can I leave her love with you?
That's so funny.
And to know that she's always around you, when you are upset. And she'd love to, she said, she showed me a few box of tissues. Like you go through them a bit.
I have done. I have done.
Yes. So just to say to you, you'll be all right. And try and get to the seaside when it's nice. Have a little paddle. She's showing me sort of like, when they used to, just, I don't know, what's that? She's not undressing. It's like, you don't undress and you just paddle a bit at the edge of the water. Yeah, something rolled back, It's like the stockings are sort of whatever, but you would understand that, you'd remember that. And just to remember all the good times. All right, dear? God bless you. And to phone and thank my helper for bringing us through. There you are. You see, it wasn't too bad, was it, young lady who's never been here before? Never been to a spiritualist church in her life? Well,
Not leaving either.
would you like to come here and do this tonight?
I don't mind.
No.
I
I feel that I was drawn to you as well. I'll totter across, shall I, a little? It's all right. No, please leave that alone. I can just imagine.
Oh, she is my camera. She's making sure you stay in the
Oh,
screen.
I see. Oh dear, I've just spotted myself. Oh dear, how
There's
awful.
two of you now.
Oh, well, I'm not going to go any further. So you're not used to this at all. All I am is sort of like an exchange. So there's somebody over here, and there's you down here, and my helper brings people in to have a little word, and there's a gentleman on the other side of life that popped off. You have a gentleman on the other side of life, yes. And I feel very loving towards you. And of course, yes, he's telling me off now. He's saying, yes, well, why else would I? Which I quite understand. And he's talking about your love for life itself, that you're full of life. You're so vibrant. And you're sort of like the life and soul of the party everywhere you go. But there's this inner self. You were never quite sure about what you're doing, in a way. Is that okay? I'm sorry, it's just I'm repeating what he's saying. I don't know you from Eve. But he certainly knows you very, very well. He knows you from when you were young as well. And that's why he's got this sort of wonderful link to you. And yes, all right, I will. He's going on things like that. And he's showing you some lovely violets. Like little violets. Is that will be significant, I feel, for you? Yes. And that's why he's brought you through to mention that. And mimosa, the lovely yellow. Yes. And I have to tell people, you see, that you are accepting this.
Yeah. Yes, you're
Yes, no, it's fine. Do you know what? Once upon a time, Derek Robinson, who is the president of Wimbledon Spiritualist Church, was also an entrepreneur for spiritualism. He launched the careers of Doris Stokes and Gordon Higginson really on the circuit of theatres, and they were famous mediums. And he invited me once if I'd like to go and do a theatre with a couple of his other, top mediums. And I thought, oh yes, I'm sort of just starting out really in a way. And I went along, and I thought I did very well. And afterwards he said, I'm never asking you again. I went, what? He said, I'm never asking you again, no more. I said, oh, I thought I did all right. No, you left them all crying. So I tried to stock up on jokes. And that's the best I could do for you, to try and stop you crying. Because I made somebody cry over here. Now I've got something to do. And I can imagine Derek, because he's on the other side now himself, he's going, yeah, I told you so. So I'm very sorry, I apologise for that. But you see, this gentleman is so loving, and he comes with such lovely, memories. And he wants you to look forward. I see. What he's saying is you've been a bit troubled yourself about your health, and, future and stuff like that. And he's saying, tell her she's got plenty of time left. Okay? It's very important. So you would understand why he's saying that to you. Because he's saying you can be naughty and obstinate and not believe anything. And it's like he's sort of saying, well, you've got to listen to me now. Because he hasn't come here for no reason. So he's quite emphatic about that. And I don't know if you have a ring that belongs to him.
Yes, his wedding ring.
Yeah, so I'm touching my wedding ring here. He's going like this with mine. I'm not taking it off for him. He doesn't need it, But yes, it's very important, a very important thing. So he just wants to send his love to you and to let you know that he's around. And especially when you're going to sleep at night, when sometimes you feel a little bit lost, that he's there. Because he's allowed to do that, he says, because of that love. All right? So he's sort of patting the things around you, makes you feel comfortable. And he's going like this on the shoulders, so probably they've been playing up a bit.
I'm quite a tense person.
Yeah, so your shoulders. You need a bit of, less stuff. You said that you were get him doing something like gentle massage, please. Gentle massage, nothing naughty, because he won't have it. He won't have that. He won't have that. No. But a little light massage, he says, is all right. Okay, make sure he keeps his distance. All right. So yeah, something like that. Just like that. So can I leave you with his love, please? And know that, and also, yes, this is all right. And he's saying he's very happy that you are treading now. You're beginning to tread on a spiritual path. So I'm very happy about that. I say God bless you. Mm-hmm. Well, tissues. Nasty. I taught mediums. I said, go to one side, then to the other side. Don't let people fall asleep. We formed a Eutychus group.
You're awake. So what are you done to?
Eutychus group, which is a young man moving forward on his journey. He's schlacked everywhere before. It's a typical wandering Jew. And he'd go everywhere preaching. And he went to Troas. And his ship was leaving at midnight. So he said to the congregation, he'd got in this upstairs room in his house where they'd all come to listen to what he was going to say. A bit like Reverend Nick.
Yeah, I knew that was coming.
And the room was full. and the people sort of sitting on the window ledges. Of course, there's no glass in the windows there. And this young man, Eutychus, who's sitting on the window ledge, and Paul's going on and on and on, as you know, if you read Corinthians or Philippians or Ephesians or, you know, Paul's letters to Rome and everything. He did go on. And Eutychus fell asleep, that was his name, and he fell out of the window. He fell back out of the window. Whoa, oh my gosh. Everybody rushed. Everyone, Paul led the way. And he saw him laying there unconscious, possibly dead, and threw himself upon him, giving him full body healing. Now, what I said was this, didn't I, when I founded this church? If anybody should be found in the congregation asleep, assume they are unconscious and they require full body healing. And so before the services, we just say, we have appointed a watch person, and should you be foolish enough to fall asleep, you will receive full body healing immediately. And you know, everybody stayed awake. In fact, they are people alive.
We're wide awake, we are.
So, you know, it's important to be much alive, but I think that's marvellous, you know, this is a good example. But, yeah, so, I bet you're glad you came here tonight. What was she doing next? What was she going to say next? You're the
We've already been there.
Roman saints.
And there.
Next. And St. Paul as well, for good measure.
Yes.
I'll tell you what, people talk about that, but like he made the most wonderful exposition of love.
Yeah.
And it's read at all of the best sort of ceremonies and services, and people have it read out at their weddings. You know, love is kind, love is patient, etc., etc. So I think he was probably worth listening to, so Eutychus shouldn't really have fallen asleep. Now come to you, madam. Louis the mask. So, you know, there are 11,000 people in hospital at the moment who didn't wear a mask. 11,000. I read it somewhere. Now. Quite a few people over there, of course, you know, I sort of it's almost like they're telling me that I'm preaching to the converted. So obviously, you're very religiousist yourself. Thank you. The lady said yes.
Tend to think about it.
Oh, dear. Well, you know, there's all sorts of different kinds of religions. Yeah, so you get good contact yourself, really. So, well, I'm glad to feel that I'm redundant. And you can tell me who is with me. Because that's happened to me often. In the old days, when I used to do the circuit, you know, you regularly used to come up and say, oh, I saw this one and that one with you, right? No, it's true, you can't go outside. Really? Oh, so sure, I've got the ones with the big heads. Oh, so some with the big heads. What? You know, like, no, not my see, man. However, yes, you do have them, sort of guides. Right, which you know about. So, you know, you're probably one of those unfortunates that gets people coming up to you after any kind of mediumship and tell you how many guides you've got with this. No, that's how they call it. And I love it when they say that you've just got one there. And that's worth more. I mean, but you've been through all that, I feel. I think you understand what I'm talking about, which is a blessing. You know, because like people at home may not understand something, but you know, we do have various like Native American guides and nuns and monks and you know, you name it, and they want to be guides. I reckon when they get over there, they all queue up to be made a guide. for somebody because they've had such really good home lifestyle here, then why not? You know. But at the same time, it seems like we've got quite a few. Okay, I've got somebody here, we'll stop that, that's all. So I've got somebody here, particularly sort of pushing forward because there's a lot. And she's telling me, thank you very much, that before she went home, she felt really ill. You know, like some people can just sort of go to bed at night and they say, oh yeah, you know, you wouldn't believe it, you know, she went up to bed and that was it. But this lady, you know, had quite a go of it. And she's telling me that it really grabbed her by the throat before she went over. Do you recognise this lady, by the way? I feel that she's very grandmotherly, she comes towards you.
Most grandmothers I hardly knew because I was very young when they passed.
Yeah, that's the trouble. But the thing is that, you know, they come with their love and it doesn't matter. You know, we think it matters if we don't know them, but they know us. And of course they've been with us since, you know, they pop in now, as we know. So she just wants to make contact with you because she feels that it's okay to come through me to you. So, you know, I think she's a very, if you can find out, at least, or you might know, that she's a very strong-minded woman and, you know, really tough, and she had to be, apparently, because she had quite a tough time of it. So hopefully you know about that. And I know that everybody has quite hard work to do, but I felt that as she comes through, she's sort of rolling up her sleeves and sort of doing stuff, practical stuff. You know, like it looks like she's sort of washing things and sewing things and doing all sorts of stuff, practical things around the home. And I think I feel very much for other people as well. Yeah, good. Because, you know, she really wants to give you that strength. Because she's saying you're in need of it in a minute. Okay? Well, you know that. They don't know that I've been told and that you know. You know, it's a sort of, you know, that kind of thing, isn't it? You know, we have to prove that there is life after this life. And it's the only way we can do it, really, isn't it? To be obnoxious to people. You know, we have to accept this. And I always say, and she's saying, it's a shame that people don't wear a hat now on the Sunday. So I think that, you know, we're going back quite, you know, up the old 50s. Do you like that thing called midwife? What is that kind of thing? Yes. I've never seen it. I would not choose to. I had to be a midwife in the 50s, and believe me, nobody should have had to do it. Nearly twice. But she's having a laugh. She's saying, you know, like, it was no joke. So whatever went on in her life was really, you know, really took some coping with the baby life.
14 children.
How many?
14.
Ah, that's why she's talking about that and having a laugh. Now, when she went in the car on Sunday, she sent them to Sunday school, you know, to get them out of the house. But then of course you get another one. If the children were out of Sunday school in the morning, boom, next year comes one. But, you know, she's very, very philosophical, and she's come through me because I have to. You wouldn't know that really, but, you know, I quite understand where she's coming from. And you know, I said she's coming through me because, and that's what that is as well. Yes. So it's a, you know, life attracting life, and she thinks, oh, that's all right, I'll come through her. So there you go. So she wants you to know that she's there for you. I've got two names to give you. I've got a Mary and a Elizabeth. to give.
Elizabeth's my grandma.
Elizabeth's and Mary. Ah, that's lovely. And so Mary, perhaps a friend or somebody close to her, was over there.
No, it doesn't sort of, so, yeah.
Oh, right, okay. So Elizabeth is her name. Elizabeth, and I'm going to give you that. Thank God for that. I really do. People say, well, where is God? Well, he's here. Really, he's with us all. And, that's the proof. We want any proof. That's it. If you've got flowers you should be throwing out. Always. Thank you for that. Notice I call them sir, not darling or, Thank you. Yes, so that's an idea. And she was really one to sort of scrubbing things out, and she's saying I'm not really into that so much. But are you the ones that sort of you soaked in? Really?
Yes.
She's saying you shouldn't just. It's your message, is it? Like just cutting it to you, and I will tell you that you sneakily put another woman in between. It has not worked. Trick the medium. You're a fake trick the medium. You won't sit there and watch.
No, it's not for that reason. So I behave myself while I'm here.
Oh, silly. Oh, you have a bit of growth.
That's the window if you want to stop.
He said he's falling asleep now. Full body healing.
It's my wife.
We're not full body, honest.
And that's what I feel like
I
saying.
did it, you know.
No. Now look, do not have to sort of come in here. If you're considering coming to Littleport Village Hall, it's not always like this. Yeah, so we've got as far as do not soak everything. It doesn't work. So I've got to give it a good try. Now, just as a parting shot here, because I'm trying to get this sorted. We're looking at, she would have made sort of bread and stuff like that. But she's recommending, I don't know if you've got one of those machines or something that would do it for you, but she's recommending to make some bread. She's concerned about your nourishment, should we say. Well, it's something about, I think you're sort of looking at what you're eating. In some way. No? She's looking at what you're eating, that's sure. Yeah, no.
She was a little skinny because she went on.
Yeah, well, that's, yeah. So she's looking at your eating. So that's probably why she's looking at this sort of thing about bread. To sort of, build you up, basically. So I'll leave you with that thought. And her love. And, I hope that you've got some joy out of this tonight. So I think you need some. No, I'm not saying there's nothing in
She did enjoy being married to me.
And you have got the same socks on, you've got a pair of socks on.
Sometimes.
I think that,
Well, I've got another pair of same at home.
yeah, I've got various socks. and he seems to lose a sock here and there.
Oh, constantly.
Yeah, it's strange, that, isn't it? I mean, no, it's not her fault. And it's how he's looking in the washing machine to see where he's gone to. But yeah, so she just wants to let you know. But yeah, so yeah, she's done that. So say God bless you. It never worked, did it? Yeah, so I like her. Bless her.
He's gonna.
I know, I wish I didn't have to do this, and I'm not going to give you some elderly rabbi either. That's what I used to get all the time. If you take one look at me, when I was back there, you remember that. Black hair and a bit of a nose, you know. And they think, oh yeah, she's got a rabbi in her family. Of course, I got several. They weren't really there, to be honest. I used to sit there and stare at the medium and think, well, I don't know who you've got. You ain't got there.
And the same thing now.
Eh?
And the same thing now.
Yeah.
Staring at you. Give it your words.
Well, the thing is, I know I know a little about you. I know you're a good medium.
Thank you.
And you served us here.
Indeed.
I think that your healing ability has blossomed. That's what I'm being told. And that you should maybe expand on that. I don't know why or what. I don't know anything about your life at the moment, really. But I can only tell you what I receive. And it's more of a sort of a multi-faith group that you have working with you.
Yes.
And they sort of exchange knowledge with you.
Yes.
They're saying that you have received quite a wealth of knowledge in your work. And you have had good healers working with you that you know of. I mean, they're only telling me to confirm that to you. And one of them who was saying, not really needs confirmation and such, but it's always nice to receive something extra. That is, I'm sorry. It's all right. There's a little lady who came through with very dark, nice curly hair. And she was sort of making herself busy, as we used to call it. She just wants to sort of feed you up. I mean, you look very, nourished. You look well nourished.
There is a line.
No, he looks very well nourished, doesn't he? He looks very well nourished. I was drawn into that one. But yeah, she wants to sort of feed you, but maybe different food. There's some criticism about what you're eating.
Yes, I can understand.
So this little lady is really, I wanted to use Yiddish, that's all right. Ganzemacher. That's what she's making a business with you. And, lovely cook. And she just wants to give you all the very best, really. But there's these wonderful people around you, and she doesn't pay them any sort of, like when you say you don't take any prisoners, she's not interested in their status, anything like that. They're just other people to her.
That's right.
Because that's how she would treat everybody. like no carrying or any of that to the body. And that's really what she was saying to me about when I was talking about rabbi. She said, that's for that lot. So that's how she put it. I'll pass it on to you. You'll recognise that attitude. Lovely eyelashes. Ask them to say that. She has lovely eyelashes, not you. She's only recognised them. And she points out, so I understand that. And I know, I want to say she's very motherly.
Yes, it is, ma'am.
Yeah, very motherly. Because there's that, what I understand is motherly, like loads and loads of it, you know. And it's about how she sees you. And why she's sort of concerning herself about your food and what you're doing and everything. But she loves what you're doing with the religious stuff. Because she wasn't into that sort of narrow way at all. And she feels that you've managed very well to avoid it. So she just wants you to know that you're on the right road. They have music over there. She enjoys that. Music, and she's showing you different things that they're doing. And it's like everybody's over there. You've got those people over there. And they really enjoy what they have to do. And she also looks after small children when they come over. So that is something she gets her pleasure from. She was always very sympathetic to anybody like talking to her children. Always. And she goes to look after somebody's kid, you know, if they needed anything. So, lovely person, and that's what she butted through. Yes, well, you know the other thing is that every time I say something like, oh God, my eldest son always says yes. And she reminded me of that. So, you know, when Jesus was born, the Jewish joke is that the birth.
I thought that was Tom Johnson.
But yeah, so your hair, she's I don't know what we're going to do with it.
Trying to make it grow.
Okay, so that's, you know, something to do with that. And she just said, you know, not to worry because it's what's in you that shines out. It's what's in you that shines out, and your healing is going to go through, you know, leaps and bounds. And this group now, they're in. She's arguing with them. She's arguing with them. And, you know, they want you to come forward and embrace you and say that, you know, they're with you, everything that you're doing. And they're showing you, you writing a book or something? Or thinking about that?
Oh, my whole life I've been thinking about it.
Oh, well, you better start doing it.
You said I better start doing it while I'm under up.
No, because you keep putting it off.
Everybody's got a watch, you know.
Listen, don't give me with the generalisation. This is not a generalisation. This is something that's important. And you have the wealth of experience. And you need to get something down. Right? So no, you've got plenty of time. You know, they just want you to get on with it. It's like whatever it is you're putting something on.
I thought I would have about another 60 years.
Another 60. Please God by you. On that note, I shall sort it back to the chair. And thank you very much for being here tonight and, putting up with me.
And I didn't even have to use the stick once.
And notice, Reverend Nick,
Not
did
a drop.
not have a drop.
No. We can double check that as well on camera if you wish. Because it's.
Tell them why, Reverend Nick. Come along
Oh,
now.
I will.
This is by way of being a master class, you
I
know.
absolutely will. Ladies and gentlemen, Reverend Lynn Gibb this Swarte. And of course, the water. You can tell whether someone is working mediumistically or psychically, depending on how much water they drink while they work. Believe it or not. It's very, very true. Of course, there are the occasions where you do have to have a big old gulp because somebody's getting something stuck in your throat. Sometimes that doesn't work, especially when they're talking about yogurt pots. But there we go, we can't have everything. Mentioning things that Reverend Lynn has mentioned, of course, she has reminded me that we have a very, very special date coming up this year. Personally to me, but mostly importantly to the church. Lynn mentioned that we founded this church a number of years ago. Now, there has been a church that was founded by us and some other people in this building for many years now. In actual fact, since around 2000, and 2 years before that, we were wandering the fens rather than the desert, but she certainly had an impression on us because we wandered all over the blooming place until we found our home here. But in its current form of the new Christian Spiritualists Society, the anniversary of the founding of this church, and the reason I said it was a bit personally special too, is because it was the same day as my ordination.
Yeah.
It was Sunday the 22nd of July, 2012. So this year on the 22nd of July, we have our 10th anniversary. 10 years. By that time, I will have done 500 addresses. And she referred to St. Paul and made a comparison there. Thank you very much. I have to confess that there was one time when Lynn was speaking in the service, I did drift off. But fortunately, I was taken to spirit for a grand vision, so I did not receive full body healing, thank God. But in all seriousness, it made me, reminded me, of course, that Lynn does like having a pop, comparing me to St. Paul's, shall we say, lengthy explanations of things. It's very interesting also to add that I followed the same route on a boat trip as he did when he ended up shipwrecking in Malta. So I don't understand why all the comparisons to St. Paul I have are the calamitous ones, but I suppose there's some kind of amusement in spirit there. But yes, I remember following that, that journey on the boat where he was being taken to Rome for trial and ended up being shipwrecked in Malta. Me, I landed there in an Airbus A320. I'll get in trouble when I get home if I don't get that one right. We landed in an Airbus A320 rather than got smashed about on the beach. But nonetheless, I did follow that route as well. And he does wander there sometimes, I'm sure, back and forth, reliving old times. So if he is about tonight and having an earwig, I don't mind talking at length about things. It's others that have the problem. Next week, our medium is the lovely Dora Sheridan, who will be back to service first time this year. Lovely, lovely lady. And of course, we will be continuing to be here all along every Thursday night. So if anybody wants to come along and aren't too far away, everyone is welcome and made to feel welcome. And as Lynn pointed out, yes, we do have other mediums on Thursday nights other than me and thee, as we demonstrate by having Dora next week. So thank you all for taking part in this service. Shall we now join together and close in prayer? As we say, Great Spirit, Father, Mother, God, we thank you for the opportunity truly to come together as friends, to unite under your banner of love and friendship, and witness that truth that life is indeed eternal. I ask for a blessing on each person here present, and the friends and families that they represent, that your light might shine upon them all in a wondrous web of love, and keep us safe and well until we meet again, which as ever will be in your name. And we remember, as we go out into this world, we make the statement and the request that we ask you not to move the mountain. Just give us the strength to climb. In your name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
Well, friends, we're about to have a raffle here, and you know what? I've got my 2 pink strips. Yes, I'm ready to win a prize. We've got some lovely prizes here tonight. And there's some Edinburgh shortbread as well from a particularly famous branding. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm sure Percy and Colin helped make them. But on that note, friends, we're going to say goodnight to everyone who's watching us online. So from all of us here in Littleport, good night. God bless, and may the peace of the Great Spirit go with you all. See you next week. You're right, that's why. All right.